Hello. Today we will look into the usage of Azure Data Studio for SQL connectivity. Before connecting to Azure Data Studio, we must be connected to a particular server. So for that, we must go to the new connection, and we must provide the server name of the SQL server, Microsoft SQL server, and the required authentication, and we must click on connect. So once the connection is authorized with the server, we will be moving on to create a particular notebook with that server using the new notebook functionality. So here we can create two types of cells. One is a code cell and another is a text cell. So I am creating a text cell. So I am giving a brief description about what this particular notebook is about in the starting code, that is a text cell. So I can create multiple text cells and n number of code cells in this particular notebook, and this notebook is targeted based on the particular server that we have connected. So now I am trying to add a particular code cell, and I am moving that code cell below to that of the text cell. So here I am going to create a database, a new database, and I'm going to use that database and create a table, and I'm going to insert data into the table and retrieve the data. So that's going to be the functionality of this notebook. So again I create a another code cell that I particularly point this particular database, and I create a table inside those database. So I'm not yet executing any code. I'm just simply creating cells, and inside those cells I'm giving the required command for which the SQL server must act upon. So as you can see, I'm creating a table with three columns: ID and name and an email. So these are the three columns that we are requiring for this table to store. So basically this table is a heap, so as it doesn't have any primary key. So these are the three columns that we have been requiring. So once this particular cell is done, I go on to create the database, the actual database. So at the end of it, you will see the database is created, and when I go to the second cell, I create the database and I create the table. So now I go on to insert some sample dummy records into the table using the below command. As you can see, I am inserting a dummy name and email value into that table, and the values are ram and ram@test.com. So this is going to be inserted in a loop for up to 100 iterations. So for that I use the keyword go 100. So this will insert the values 100 times. So now I go on to click another text cell, so giving a brief introduction about what the particular functionality is going to achieve. So here we are going to retrieve the data. So the code block that is going to be inserted now. As you can see, I'm going to use the keyword select to retrieve all the data from the table db azure std test. So I use the keyword and I prefix. Now I click on run. So when I click on create database again, it will throw an error that it is already existing. So now I move on to insert those data. As you can see, it is instantaneously inserting data, and once it is inserted, I go on to retrieve the data. So as you can see, the data is retrieved in a tabular schema structure. That's it. Now, the retrieved tabular data can be saved in the formats of CSV, XML, JSON, Excel file, or it can be visually viewed in the form of a chart. So now let's see the conversion of the data into the CSV format. So as you can see, it is a comma separated values. All the 100 rows are comma separated. So now we go on to export data in the form of an Excel, where we provide the name of the Excel, and we can see a tabular formation of the data in an Excel output. For all the 100 rows, we get the data in an Excel format. Next conversion, we export it in the form of a JSON file. For each and every attribute, the data is converted to an Excel, so a JSON value. Last, we convert data into an XML output file. Starting from row 1 to row 100, we get it as an XML file. We also can visualize data in the form of a chart. We can switch back to data in a table format. Thank you.